In the last part, we looked at Heidi's problem at work. She had to do a lot of repetitive tasks on Microsoft Word, and she was looking for an easier way. And we talked about creating a macro for her. We've already done the planning stage. We have a list of steps that she needs to complete every day, as well as I've got a sample document over here. It's just text that I've pulled up from the internet, and we have the macro options displaying all on the top. We've already set it up. Before we start, I also wanted to say that when you're recording macros, you can start the recording macro session from 3 different ways. You could go to View, Macros, and you see there's a Record Macro option. You can also access it from the Developers tab right here, Developer, Record Macro, or you can double click this little icon at the bottom and access the macro session. I'm going to go ahead and start my macro from View, Macros, and Record Macro. I'm going to name my macro as Heidi's Macro. Heidi, and I'll name it Heidi Macro. Make sure, as part of the naming convention, make sure that there are no spaces between the words, so that's going to give you an error. In the description, I'm going to write over here Heidi's daily list of tasks. And the description is a really nice option because it will come in handy, especially if you create macros on a regular basis. It gives you a quick overview of what the macro is about, especially when you're about to view or run them. Notice there's a keyboard option to create keyboard shortcuts. We will go into this in a later part of the video. For storing macros, right now it's storing in all documents normal.dotm extension, and we're going to leave it at that because that's exactly what we want for all documents. We're going to go ahead and click OK. Notice that as soon as I clicked OK, I have this little cassette player showing with my cursor icon. What that indicates is that Record Macro option has been turned on. So any keystroke that you hit right now is going to be recorded. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Heidi's list, the first thing that we have to do is set the font size for text to size 14. How I'm going to do that? Remember, when you cannot select text through the mouse, and that's because when you're creating macro, the way it works is that it records the keystrokes, so any mouse clicks on the text will not register. So I'm going to go ahead and do Control A to select all my text. I'm going to change the text size to 14. I'm going to go up to Home and change it to 14. Now that I'm done with that, I'll go back to my list to check what the next thing to do is, and it says change the style to Times New Roman. My text is already selected, so I'll go up to Home and I'll change it to Times New Roman. Next, what I need to do is replace the word company to new star. Make sure that the all text is not selected anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the Home key, which is going to bring my cursor right up at the top. I'm going to go to Home, and then I'll click on Find. Now, if you're anything like me and you've forgotten what we were doing, you can always just refer back to the notepad, and it says we're replacing the word company to new star. So I'll go ahead over here and type in the word company and find all occurrences of the word company. And I'll go back to Home and replace it with new star. So I'll click on Replace all occurrences of the word company with new star. And if you go ahead and look at the next step, it says change the color of new star to red. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it right here. Go to Format, Font Color, Red. Okay, and I'm going to click on Replace All. It says there are 33 replacements. Do you want to continue searching from the beginning? I can do yes. All done. We made 33 replacements. Okay, so we're all good to go right here. Next, it says move the text down a little and add a heading. The heading is Markets. Change heading font size to 20. So what I'm going to do right here is go up here, click Enter, tab it over here, get to the center, write Markets, highlight my markets, and change it to size 20. now that I've completed all the steps, and you can look at the steps that you have, we've completed all of them, we need to stop recording the macro. So I'm going to go ahead, come to View, Macro, and I have the option for stop recording. I can also stop recording right here at the bottom, as well as through the Developers tab. Another thing I wanted to mention was that you also have the option of pausing at any point in time. So if you want to go ahead and do something else in your Word document, you can always pause, make the changes, and then come back and then restart recording from where you left off. In my case, I'm just going to go ahead and stop recording. Once I've stopped recording, what I need to do is make sure that the changes that I've done actually work. So I want to check or test my macro, and that's a very good practice. So what I'm going to do for that is I'm going to click undo, and I'm going to go back to how my text looked like before. It was right here. So now that I'm back to my original text, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to View, Macros, View Macros right here, and I see Heidi's macro. That's the one that we recorded, Heidi's daily list of tasks. I'm going to go ahead and hit Run. And hooray! All our changes did get recorded. I've got markets on size 20 font size. I've got company replaced as News Star. So my macro worked. Congratulations, you've just learned how to create a macro. In the next part of the course, we will move on and we will learn other aspects of macro creation.